ProDrive has a few unique offerings, and we are going to go over some of the differences in their lineup. I've also made separate videos for some of these paddles, which you can find in the description below if you wanted some more details and thoughts about them. The 5 paddles we are going to be going over are the ProDrive White, the ProDrive Carbon, the Ghost, the ProDrive Select, and the new ProDrive Encounter. So we're going to start off with the ProDrive White, which was their first release a year or so back. This paddle was interesting because of its all-white design and 3-layer sandwiched core comprised of Kevlar in the middle with polypropylene honeycomb on either side. This gave the ProDrive White a pretty unique feel and characteristic to the paddle. It had a soft feel when blocking, resetting, and dropping, but if you really swung fast and hard at the ball, the stiffer Kevlar core would kick in and give you some extra plow through on the ball. There are a few considerations you should probably keep in mind though. This 3-layer core makes the paddle thick and quite head heavy. It has a 19mm core, and the swing weight has to be one of the highest on the market. It can definitely make fast hand exchanges challenging if you are playing against higher level aggressive players. Another issue I had with the ProDrive White is the fact that it utilized spray-on grit, which would wear down pretty quickly. You would have to be mindful of your technique and get under the ball more to generate spin. If you have good fundamentals and compact strokes, I think the ProDrive White is a great all-court paddle for a control-centric player that can still put away balls when given the right opportunity. In my previous video, I might have categorized it as a power paddle, and it probably was when it was released, but I think in today's kind of modern game and the landscape and the market paddles out there, this kind of seems more like a control paddle that leans power. There is also another color variant of this paddle with accents of pink if that is your jam. Next up is the ProDrive Carbon. This is essentially a more powerful, more spin-friendly, upgraded version of the ProDrive White we just talked about. It builds upon the success of the ProDrive White and makes some crucial improvements with minimal drawbacks. The ProDrive Carbon uses the same 19mm 3-core construction as the original ProDrive White, but it now sports a raw carbon fiber face and a thermoformed unibody construction. The raw carbon fiber face is much more durable than the spray-on grit, which gives you access to more spin potential and is a very welcomed improvement. Another improvement with the ProDrive Carbon is the use of thermoformed heat molded construction. This gives the paddle a unibody design, making it more durable and stiff, which increases the pop and power you get from this paddle. However, the extra material and mass from the unibody construction increases the swing weight of this paddle even more when compared to the ProDrive White, which already had a high swing weight. In fact, I think that this paddle might be one of the highest swing weight paddles on the market, and that might be a turnoff to a lot of players since the game is becoming increasingly faster. With that being said, it is also one of the most stable paddles on the market, and resetting, blocking, and countering is pretty good. If you can handle the weight, it should be a non-issue for you. The ProDrive Carbon is probably my favorite paddle from the ProDrive lineup, and if you like to hit ground strokes, swing volleys, or play singles, this paddle is an absolute beast in all categories except for maneuverability. If you like to play in transition while moving up and are confident in your hand speed, then this paddle is definitely worth considering. Now, if hand speed is of the utmost importance to you and you don't want to lose any pop on your shots, then you want to take a look at the Ghost paddle. This paddle comes in an elongated shape but with rounded off corners with a 16mm thick core, which makes it much faster in the hand when compared to the ProDrive White and ProDrive Carbon models. It comes in at a swing weight of 114 compared to the 132 to 136 you find in the ProDrive White and ProDrive Carbon. Now, with the swing weight of 114 for the Ghost, coupled with the raw carbon fiber face and the full aramid Kevlar honeycomb core it has, this paddle has some decent pop and spin. It also takes a bit of time for the paddle's core to break in a bit so that it becomes a bit more responsive in the hand. Once you break it in a bit, The Ghost is pretty much a menace at the kitchen line if you can get there fast and early. The Ghost definitely rewards first strike play. The pop it gives is not uncontrollable and gives very responsive feedback, so you can dink, block, and reset with just a bit of an adjustment period. However, the Ghost shines the most when you are playing aggressive and first to speed up, since countering with this thing is pretty awesome as the shots come off the paddle face fairly fast. There are some drawbacks with the Ghost though. First of all, it's fairly loud and some people just might find that noise annoying. Definitely a consideration if you tend to play in a residential area where noise complaints are a thing. Some players might also find the stiffness and feel a bit jarring, but I don't think it's that bad. I mentioned in my first look video on the Ghost that it is essentially an upgraded Onyx Z5 paddle with better spin and construction due to the raw carbon fiber face and thermoformed construction. If you're looking for a fast paddle but with a bit better feel, the Encounter sort of takes the best of both worlds from the Ghost and the ProDrive Carbon. It's essentially an edgeless 16mm version of the ProDrive Carbon. It still has good touch and decent power thanks to the 3-core design, but is now way more maneuverable in the hand and more sleek looking without the edge guard. This is actually the first paddle I've seen with an edgeless design that is this clean and sharp looking. It just looks really, really good. I think the only other paddles I know of that kind of has this like more flat edgeless design are the Electrum Stealth series of paddles. However, with this modern design, you trade some stability for faster hands. This kind of comes down to your personal preference and play style. It honestly plays great, and my only reservation about this design is the sharp angle that the edge walls make. I'm a little concerned that if I dropped this paddle or scraped it on the ground, I could seriously damage the edges, even when compared to other edgeless paddles out there. I will say though that this very flat edge would make it easier to apply weighted tape or edge guard tape, which you should probably be doing if you play with an edgeless paddle anyways. I'd categorize the Encounter as a modern all-core paddle when compared to the rest of their lineup. Pretty much checks all the boxes, but I would definitely add additional weight at the 4 and 8 positions to bring up the stability in the Encounter. One last paddle offering from ProDrive I want to quickly go over is the ProDrive Select. It's just a regular 16mm full PPP honeycomb core with spray-on grit, and it's in the same shape as the Ghost. So you will have a very soft feeling paddle that is quick in the hands. It's nothing really that special or interesting, to be honest with you, from a performance perspective. However, what is actually pretty cool about the Select is that ProDrive allows you to white label it, meaning you can work with ProDrive to make you a minimum required amount of paddles with your own custom design or logo or whatever you want really on it, so that you can either sell, give away, or utilize for your own company, group, or business. Here are some of the options and examples shown on their website, which I think is pretty cool. Okay, so to summarize, if you want better spin and a longer lasting paddle face, you are better off going with one of the raw carbon fiber options, mainly the ProDrive Carbon, the Ghost, or the Encounter. The ProDrive White is an all-core paddle that leans towards power that I would recommend to intermediate players with compact strokes and solid technique. The ProDrive Carbon is a power paddle for advanced players who like to drive from the baseline and don't mind sacrificing a bit of hand speed at the no volley zone. The Ghost is a lightweight and very maneuverable paddle with great pop, but it is loud and feels like it lacks some court penetration when swinging from the baseline. The Encounter is a faster, edgeless, more sleek version of the ProDrive Carbon with less stability and a tad less power, but has more wiggle room for customization to your liking with weighted tape. The Select is a generic paddle offering with some cool style offerings if that is something that you're interested in. Anyways, hope you found this video useful. Until next time, play better. Peace.